What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video of Yu-geeki-oh. It's been a second, but we're back. A lot of people told me that I should start making videos again, so that's what I'm gonna start doing. And hopefully it all works out. Today I have two deck box reviews and a Blue Eyes deck review. It's my Blue Eyes deck that I've made and that I use in like casual play, sometimes some local tournaments. I got both of these deck boxes at Lexicon. This one's from Lexicon 2022. This one's from this year, 2024. And then obviously in the Blue Eyes decks box, I have the Blue Eyes deck, and in the second one, I have my Red Eyes deck, which I've done a deck review on. It has changed a little bit since then, so if you guys would like me to do a video on it, just let me know in the comment section below, and I'll leave a link in the description below to that video. I also have my Cyber Dragon deck in that deck box as well, and I actually really like both these deck boxes. They're very simple and they're fairly cheap for what they are. They are handmade, and of course, like, the artwork isn't like hand drawn or anything, it's printed on, but they're handmade. This one's a little beat up. I've got some stickers and stuff on it. And the latch design is simple. It's just some Velcro threaded through and stapled onto the box, and then inside you can see I got the cards. Both boxes hold up to 160 sleeve cards, and then only 100 double sleeved cards. Is what the vendor told me. I haven't put it to the test, but I'm gonna trust him because he seems like a pretty nice guy. He also has an online store. I'll see if I can't find his card that I got from him and put it in the description below as well. But they are both pretty simple deck boxes. They're built kind of like a puzzle piece, so each piece fits together in its own like kind of way, and that's just how it was made. It's held together pretty well with some top grade wood glue. He kind of just puts it together in front of you, or he puts the faceplate on in front of you. The rest of it's pre-made whenever you go up there. Oh well, there's his website if you want to go to that. I'll also leave it in the description below. You'll have to ignore the thumb. I've got a thing going on, but anyways, without further ado, let's get into the deck box and deck review for the Blue Eyes. Alrighty guys, so with this deck box, a deck review, it's just like the other one that I was showing beforehand. It's got the same type of puzzle pattern to it that makes it fit in its own unique little way. It's got a pretty nice picture of the starter deck Kaiba Blue Eyes on it, and I figured what better mat to use than the Legendary Collection Kaiba mat. And as you can see, I don't have as many cards in this one as I did the other one, and that's just because it's just one deck in here, just a Blue Eyes deck, just the only deck that I figured would make sense to go in here, whereas the other one had a black dragon and white dragon on it, so I figured why not Cyber Dragon and Red Eyes. It is what it is, but like I said before, they can each hold up to 160 sleeved cards or even unsleeved cards, and then it can only hold 100 double sleeved cards. This one unfortunately doesn't have his website on the bottom of it. I guess that's just something that he stopped doing not too long ago. I wish I had a deck box from him from the Lexicon 2023, but unfortunately I do not. I didn't really see him there that year, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I am going to forewarn you, not all of my card sleeves match. This I do believe is just my side deck though. But most of my card sleeves, the card sleeves that are important, they will match. I don't really mess with the side deck too much because usually I'm playing casual play and I don't really need it. My extra deck, I don't really think the extra deck matters too much if it's not 110% accurate with all the card sleeves. However, what does matter is the main deck, and with the main deck and the rest of the card sleeves pretty much, except for like the exception of 2 or 3, they're all this Blue Eyes alternative White Dragon. It's a pretty nice card sleeve. I'm not exactly sure where the person that got these for me got them, but they are pretty nice, and I'm sure that you could probably replicate them or even make them in your own way on the Yu-Gi-Oh! Card Dragon Shield app, which I will leave a link for in the description below. I think it's $24.99 to customize your own card sleeves and get them shipped, plus like delivering fee or whatever, which isn't too bad. I figured it's pretty much just $10 more than what you can usually get at the store anyways. So that's the deck box. Let's get straight into the deck. So I don't actually I don't run it quite the same as others do. I know there's probably a lot of things in this deck that a lot of people aren't going to like or change, but this is just the way that I run it. By all means, it's not the way that I would like to run it right now, but it's just what I have, and it works pretty well for what it is. So without further ado, let's get into it. So for 3Os, I play 3 copies of Blue Eyes White Dragon. I also play 3 copies of the alternative White Dragon. And then, of course, I play the 3 copies of the Ancients. And then I play 2 copies of Dictator of D. I play 2 copies of Sage. A lot of people would say to play 3 copies of Sage and Dictator, and like 2 to 1 copies of Ancients. A lot of people also say to play only 2 to 1 copies of alternative. I wholeheartedly disagree. I feel like this is the best way to play these first few cards right here. The best way to play Dictator and Sage, along with Ancients, Blue Eyes, and alternative. And then to get into our 1-ofs, I play 1 copy of Legend, 1 copy of Chaos Dragon Levianeer, 1 copy of Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. Always been a great staple card for any dragon deck, just because its ability to either be normal summoned or special summoned from the hand by banishing a face-up dragon monster. And you can only, the only downfall is you can only special summon one like this once per turn. However, if you normal summon one and then special summon one, that would work too. But it also has a really neat ability to be able to special summon a dragon type monster from your hand or graveyard. So that's pretty much just 3 Blue Eyes right there. Nebula Dragon, I used to play 2 of them, but I got some other cards to put in here. Just so really, 1 of them is great. 2 of them, if you can afford to play 2 of them, that's even better. But basically, what it does is if you have Nebula Dragon and another level 8 dragon type monster in your hand, you can reveal both special summon and defense. Their effects are negated, and that's basically a real easy way to get out like Hope Harbinger, or some other rank 8 Xyz monsters. But going forward, we have Dragon Spirit of White, just a really good card to, just really good back row destroyer card, so that you could basically just get rid of one of your opponent's spell trap cards they control. You banish it, and then you can also summon a Blue Eyes with its effect. And then you got Blue Eyes Abyss Dragon. It's not the most expensive rarity, but it's probably my favorite rarity that I've had so far of it. Then again, the only other rarity is just an ultra rare. Really good effect, especially if you have Ancients in the graveyard at the end of turn. I really like to pull Abyss Dragon out at the end of turn, and go ahead, and then I would go into its polymerization effect. Polymerization in my hand, as well as, since it is the end phase, its end phase effect would activate, and then you get to add a level 8 or higher dragon monster from your deck to your hand. Which in other plays you could add something like Chaos Dragon, the Dragon of Armageddon, or Levianeer. You could even add Blast Chaos Max Dragon, or just any level 8 or higher dragon type monster is really good. And then it also has a graveyard ability, where if you banish it from the graveyard, it gives all your monsters on the field an extra 1000 attack. However, that does not affect monsters that are summoned after that card is banished from the graveyard. We also play a Protector with Eyes of Blue, and then a Maiden with Eyes of Blue. Two really great cards that I just can't see myself getting rid of in this deck profile. Not anytime soon, anyways, unless something better comes out that I can replace it, that I see fit to be better to replace it. Just because whenever you're playing Maiden or Protector, they work really well with Sage, because you can play Sage onto Maiden. That's 2 blue eyes right there. You can even normal summon Protector to summon Sage or even Maiden, and then you can play Sage onto the Maiden, or if you use it to summon the Sage, that's a Ancient or a Legend straight from your deck to your hand, which is really good, especially if you're using Link monsters. And then for the spells, 3 of, so we have 3 Melody of Awakening Dragons, and then that's really the only thing that you're gonna play 3 of in these spells. Traps, I play 2 Return of the Dragon Lords. Just a really great card, especially it was a really great card, especially whenever Monster Reborn was still banned. Basically, all it really does is you summon a level 8 or dragon type monster in your graveyard and special summon it. And then if a dragon type monster or monsters would be destroyed by a battle card effect, you can banish this card from the graveyard instead. Just a really great card to have 2 of. And you have Foolish Burial. This is a great way to, especially in an opening hand, to get like Legend or Ancients from your deck just straight to the graveyard to summon out that Abyss Dragon at the end of turn, or Blue Eyes, however you want to play it. There's so many different ways. And then, of course, Dracoback the Rideable Dragon, a great card to play with Blue Eyes, especially in some of today's casual or even like local events. Especially if your local events are as small as mine, where you got like 4 or 5 people. But like, so basically what you do is you equip to a monster you control, and then if the monster is a non-effect monster, you can target 1 card your opponent controls and return it to the hand, which is really good, especially if they have something like, I don't know, just off the top of my head, what's a good one? Anti-spell Fragrance, or like, I think that one's an Infinite Trap. If not, just call me dumb in the comment section below. But anything really, even if like you're playing like casual or old school, especially with like Edison format coming out, like stuff like Silvery Calcos, or like Swords of Revealing Light, this would be a great card, except it wasn't out back then, which really sucks. But then again, I guess it would be really OP. But it is a really great card just to have on your side of the field, especially if like you and your opponent doing like a gag play like Kaiba versus Yugi, and they have like a Dark Magician or like Dark Paladin out on the field, just add it back to their extra deck or hand. And then Cards of Consonance, really, this is just a great card, especially since you're playing 4 dragon type monster tuners with 1000 attack or less, and then you just send it straight from your hand to the graveyard and go ahead and draw 2 cards, which is great. I know there's only one of them, but I can't tell you the amount of times that this card has come in clutch for me. And then polymerization, mainly just because Abyss Dragon is in here, and it is still a great fusion card in casual play. Trade-in's really good considering the amount of level 8 dragon type monsters you will be playing in this deck list. And all you gotta do is just discard it and then draw 2 cards. Fusion deployment is a great to have in this deck. I know other people will probably play more than one. However, I like to keep it at just one. Basically, what you do, you play it, reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck, and special summon from your deck a material listed on that fusion monster. And of course, to go along with the Return of the Dragon Lords, we have Monster Reborn, since it is no longer banned. Just a great card to have. Always has been, always will be. And I mean, it's just because you can target a monster in either player's graveyard and special summon it to your side of the field. And you have Ultimate Fusion, an amazing fusion card for Blue Eyes. I was so happy whenever this card came out, especially because if you're using all the materials on the field, then you can destroy up to the number of Blue Eyes and Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragons used for the material. So let's say you're pulling out like Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, you use 3 Blue Eyes on the field, then you go ahead and destroy up to 3 monsters on the field that your opponent controls, since they're all on the field. However, they have to be on the field, unfortunately, which is a little harder to do, but it does happen. Not to mention, you don't send these cards from your field to the graveyard or anything like that, except you would take the fusion materials from your hand, field, or graveyard and shuffle them back into your deck. So it's also really consistent to keep your dragons into your deck as well. And the Vision with Eyes of Blue, it can be kind of a confusing card, but it's not too bad to have in a deck. I don't see a lot of play with it, and I might honestly just opt it out for something else, like once I get my hands on a Bingo Machine Go or something like that. But basically, its effect reads: you can activate this card, you can reveal 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon in your hand, special summon 1 monster from your hand. Once you return, you can target 1 face-up monster you control, return that face-up monster to the field, or not to the field, so that face-up monster to the hand. Then you can apply the following effect based on the original name of the card returned to the hand. And then it's got the 2 options on there: Blue Eyes White Dragon, special summon from your hand, or other, special summon 1 Blue Eyes monster from your hand. So basically, the way that I usually use this card is I will have like Dictator on the field, put Dictator back in the hand, and special summon Blue Eyes. That's basically what I'll do. Or if I have a Blue Eyes White Dragon on the field, put it in my hand, summon another Blue Eyes, and special summon that other Blue Eyes in another way. Something like that. And then another way to draw cards, it does kind of affect with this style of Blue Eyes deck, since it is very extra deck oriented. However, I guess that's just the luck of the game. There are better cards to play, like Pot of Prosperity or something like that. I don't have the funds to get that right now because they are kind of expensive. However, this is a great second to go to. Basically, you can choose to banish 3 or 6 random cards face down from your extra deck, and then draw 1 card for every 3 cards banished. So if you banish 6 cards, you draw 2 cards. So it basically becomes a pot of greed, just with a cost. And then Dragon Shrine. Dragon Shrine is a great card to have in any dragon deck, regardless, especially Blue Eyes. You can just send Blue Eyes White Dragon from your deck to the graveyard, and then straight from your graveyard, you can put a an ancient or a legend. Usually I'll put a legend just to put a Blue Eyes into my hand. Or you could even put an ancient, and then at the end of the turn you can summon a Blue Eyes monster, whichever way you prefer to go about it. Which leads us into our trap cards. And for the traps, I play one, the Ultimate Creature of Destruction, just because it's a great trap card to have to be able to play on Blue Eyes, especially in some sticky situations. Because after all, it is called a trap card. It's used to be a trap on your opponent. And so basically all you do is you target a Blue Eyes monster you control, and this turn that face-up monster is unaffected by card effects except its own. It cannot be destroyed by battle. Also, any opponent's monster that battles is destroyed at the end of the damage step while this card is in your graveyard. If you normal special summon a Blue Eyes White Dragon, you can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. So basically, you just put it on a Blue Eyes monster, it becomes indestructible. Of course, you can't play it on anything that can't be affected by card effects or anything, like Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon. But if you put it on a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, which is what you see on the picture, or like a normal Blue Eyes monster, it should be fine, and everything should go your way. And then last but not least, for the main deck, I play 2 True Lights. That's just for the consistency of it. You could honestly just play 1, you play 3, it doesn't really matter. Just how many ever you want to play. It's just a really good card. It's basically the True Light. True Light's basically the eternal soul of Dark Magician, except instead of your Dark Magician not being able to be destroyed at all by your opponent's card effects, it's just your opponent cannot target Blue Eyes White Dragon, whereas, like I said before, Eternal Soul does not say target, it just can't be destroyed. So you'd have to get rid of Eternal Soul instead of getting rid of Dark Magician first. However, with True Light, you can just target it with something like a monster effect, like even another alternative White Dragon's ability. If you were playing Blue Eyes against Blue Eyes or anything else, really, it won't be destroyed. However, you could use stuff like Yu-geeki or Mirror Force or something. Just cards that wouldn't target it by any means, and then as long as it doesn't target, it's pretty much done so. So it's a really good card to have in your deck if your opponent's stuff is based around targeting your monsters. And then of course it has its special summon ability for Blue Eyes White Dragon from your hand graveyard, and then you can also if you choose not to special summon, or you can't special summon that Blue Eyes, you can also set one spell or trap directly from your deck that specifically lists Blue Eyes White Dragon in its text with a different name from the cards you control and in your graveyard. So it's not too bad. But that is it for the main deck. It worked for me. Like I said at the beginning, it's not perfect by any means. It's definitely not where I would want it to be. I'm definitely liking a few cards like Jet Dragon and even like Chaos Dragon, the Dragon of Armageddon. Just stuff like that. Just some little stuff that just costs a pretty penny. So with that, we'll get into the extra deck. And basically, for the extra deck right now, the only Link monster we're rocking is Striker Dragon. And then of course, we're gonna have more Xyz monsters, just because you're gonna be able to special summon a lot of level 8 monsters. So we're gonna have number 62 Galaxy Eyes Prime Photon Dragon, great card. Number 7 Draglubion, I think that's how you say it. If not, correct me in the comment section below. Time Thief Redoer, you're not going to be seeing this one too much, but it's mainly in there just because you can have 2 dictators on the field, especially, and it's going to be more common if you run 3. But it's just a good one of in the deck, just in case. And then, of course, you gotta have the number 38 Hope Harbinger Dragon Titanic Galaxy. A great monster of a card to have in there. It's got the same stats as Blue Eyes, and not only that, but its effect reads: once returned, when a spell card or effect is activated on the field, quick effect, you can negate that effect, and if you do, attach the card to this card as material. When its opponent's monster declares an attack, you can detach one material from this card, change the attack target to this card, and perform damage calculation. If another face-up Xyz monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can target one face-up Xyz monster you control. It gains attack equal to one of those destroyed monsters' original attacks. So its effect is kind of cracked and broken. And then for the synchros, we have 2 Blue-Eyed Spirit Dragons. Just a great card to have in there. I really just have 2 just for like giggles. You don't really need to run 2, you only need to run 1, but I really like the card. I figured why not run 2, especially if I'm gonna run an Azurize and Michael the Arclight Sworn. That way, if I use one effect of a Spirit Dragon, I can special summon another one, or synchro summon another one, and then one I can use Azurize on, the other I can use Michael on, or however you want to play it. Totally up to you. It's just the way that I like to play it. Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon is going to be a great one-of fusion in this deck. All of our fusions are going to be one-ofs. But Blue Eyes Twin Burst Dragon is great one-of fusion. You don't even need polymerization or anything to summon it. You just need 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons on the field. So Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon and Blue Eyes White Dragon will do fine. However, they have to be on the field. You distribute them off and then special summon them. However, if you have one in your graveyard and one in your hand, you would have to use something like Ultimate Fusion or even like polymerization or any type of fusion is going to allow you to fusion summon it. And then you have Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon. It took me a while to find this card. It wasn't as pricey as I thought it was going to be. I think this one ran me about $13. It was pretty nice. It was down at a card shop called Bluegrass Magic Shop or something like that. It was primarily a Magic store, but they had a small section of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, and I just so happened to find this bad boy there. Pretty dope card. It has 4,500 attack, 3,800 defense, and basically it's the materials you need to use to summon it is the same as a Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. However, you can use Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, and if at least one of its materials is Blue Eyes Alternative White Dragon, you can target up to 3 cards your opponent controls and destroy them. However, this card cannot attack during this turn that it activates its effect. If you don't have any alternatives as material, unfortunately you can only target one monster your opponent controls and destroy it. But still a absolutely cracked card, especially if you use something like Ultimate Creature Destruction. Still cracked. Not that you would really need it, because this card can't be destroyed or targeted with your opponent's card effects anyways. And then next, I just recently got this card, which is why it's not in a alternative sleeve quite yet, but I just got this card. I found it at a game store. It's kind of like a gaming pawn shop store that I used to work at, but it was in the Yu-Gi-Oh bulk, and I got it for 10 cents, which is, I would say that's a steal. It is Neo Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, same stats as the Alternative Ultimate Dragon, 4500 defense or 4500 attack, 3800 defense. And basically the main effect of this card is if this card is the only card you control on your field, or only face-up monster you control on your field, you can send a Blue Eyes Fusion monster or Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon monster from your extra deck to the graveyard, and it can make a second attack and a third attack. So basically, if you have this card on the field, you can send 2 Blue Eyes Ultimates or a Twin Burst, or a Blue Eyes Ultimate and a Blue Eyes Alternative Ultimate Dragon to the graveyard, and it can attack 2 more times or 1 more time. How many ever you want to send, can send. And then, of course, you gotta have the original Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon. Just a great vanilla beat stick to have in a deck for Blue Eyes. And then last but not least, probably the one that I summon out the most, just because it's probably the easiest fusion monster to summon, and it's still absolutely cracked. Its defense is 2900, and attack 3400. It's Blue Eyes Tired Dragon, and its materials needed is a Blue Eyes White Dragon plus 1 dragon monster. So you can use Blue Eyes White Dragon in any dragon type monster that you need. However, it must be either fusion summoned or special summoned from your extra deck by attributing 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon equipped with a fusion monster. So basically, all you gotta do really is play Ultimate Fusion or Polymerization. That works just fine. That's just the special summon way of being able to pull it out, is by attributing 1 Blue Eyes White Dragon equipped with a fusion monster. And then it is also unaffected by trap cards or effects. And then this card can attack all monsters your opponent controls once each. Once returned at the end of the damage step of this card battle, you can target 1 trap card in your graveyard set to spell a trap zone. So it's kind of like a Ultimate Conductor Tyranno with the ability to attack all of your opponent's monsters once each. However, the only difference really is with that effect is instead of destroying those monsters, when it does attack and do damage to your opponent, you get to get a trap card from your graveyard and add it to your opponent's trap card zone. With that concludes the extra deck. I don't really see a need to go into the side deck, but I'm going to anyways, because why not? So with this side deck, it's really plain and simple. There's not a lot of cards in here. There's some cards in here like Blue Eyes Shining Dragon that I use just for fun, just to put in there for fun times, funsies. Not really the best card to play in today's terms. Blue Eyes Chaos Max Dragon, that's just for like funsies, tough times. If I ever wanted to play like a DSOD Kaiba version of the deck. Foolish Burial Goods, I played it for a while just so I could get Ultimate Creature of Destruction from my deck into the graveyard, and from the graveyard onto the field, since you're going to be summoning Blue Eyes so much. And it does really good going against certain decks. And then you got your Blue Eyes Solid Dragon. Also, it's not as good as a lot of other Blue Eyes cards. Don't get me wrong, it's still a great card to have in a Blue Eyes deck, especially in a side deck, especially if you're trying to make it pure Blue Eyes. But this is as pure Blue Eyes as your deck is going to get, minus some cards, without like making it too terribly bad. I'm not saying that it would be terrible, but it's not going to win a whole lot. And then you got Deep Eyes White Dragon, a great card that I had played with before Jet Dragon and everything came out. I played it, and it was a great card to have in there, especially with the ability to destroy your opponent's monsters if it's destroyed. Just a great card. Also because it gains attack from the dragon type monsters in your graveyard, and when it's summoned, it inflicts 600 damage to your opponent. It's just a really good fun card to have in there. Chaos form, obviously, for Chaos Max Dragon, and then Master of Eyes of Blue. I did have a Priestess here at one point. I'm not quite sure what I did with her, but I did have a Priestess in here. I think I left her over there, but I just didn't pick her up. But there's the Priestess too, and the Master, and that's just if I wanted to run like an Eyes of Blue type of chain in the deck, but I don't really see a point. The Eyes of Blue engine just isn't the best engine to play with Blue Eyes. But with that being gone through, we have the deck box, the main deck, the extra deck, and the side deck all went through. That's pretty much the deck file, and with that, I can't wait to see you guys on the next episode of Yu-geeki-oh, and may God bless you all. Have